includes formation of gametogenesis, and that is ovum in females transform sperm into the female genital tract, insemination and fusion of a male and female and fertilization, leading to formation of the zygote. This is followed by the formation and development of the blastocyst and its attachment to the uterine wall, implanting development, castration, and delivery of baby parturition. You have learned that this reproductive event occur after puberty. These are remarkable difference the reproductive event in the males and females. For example, sperm formation continues in old men, but formation of one season in women around the age 50 years. Let us examine the male and female reproductive system in human. The male reproductive system is located in the pelvis region. In pelvis region, it includes a pair of testes along with accessory ducts, glands, and external genitalia. The testes are situated. Outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. The scrotum has been maintaining a low temperature of a testis that is 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the normal internal body temperature, necessary for spermatogenesis. In adults, each testis is oval in shape with a length about 4 to 5 centimeter and width 2 to 3 centimeter. The testis is covered by the dense covering. Each testis has 250 compartments called testicle lobules. 250 compartments called testicle lobules. Each lobules contain 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules in which sperms are produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined on its inside by two types of cells called male germ cell, spermatogonia, and Sertoli cell. Male germ cell and Sertoli cell. The male germ cells undergo mitotic division and finally leading to the sperm formation. Meiotic division and finally leading to the sperm formation. While Sertoli cell provide nutrition to the germ cell, the region outside the seminiferous tubules called interstitial space contains small blood vessels called an interstitial cell or Leydig cell. Leydig cells synthesize and secrete testicular hormone called androgen. Other immunological compartment of cells are also present. Leydig cells synthesize and secrete testicular hormone called androgen. Other immunological component cells are also present. The male sex accessory tracts include radiaceous, vas efferentia, epidermis, and vas deferens. The seminiferous tubules of the testes open into the vasa efferentia. The seminiferous tubules of testes open into the vasa efferentia through testes. The vasa efferentia of each testis. The vasa efferentia leaves the testis and open into epidermis located along the posterior surface of each testis. The epidermis leads to vas deferens that ascend to the abdomen and loop over the urinary bladder. Ascend to the abdomen and loop over the urinary bladder. It receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. What's the difference? में एक डक्ट खुलता है सेमिनल वेसिकल का और वो ओपन होता है इन टू यूरेथ्रा एज एसिकुलेटरी डक्ट. This duct store and transport the sperm from the testes to outside through urethra. The urethra originates from urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethra meatus. Glans, penis, foreskin, testes, urethra, bulbourethral gland, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urinary bladder, ureter, vas deferens, epididymis, vas efferens, radiaceous, testicle lobules, scrotum, testes, rectum, anus, ejaculatory duct, prostate, vas. Interstitial cell, spermatogonia, spermatozoa, Sertoli cell. The penis is a male external genitalia. It is made up of special tissue that help in erection of the penis to facilitate insemination. The inner end of penis called glans penis is covered by loose fold of skin called foreskin. Covered by loose fold of skin called foreskin. The male accessory gland includes pair of seminal vesicles, a prostate, pair of bulbourethral glands, a prostate, pair of seminal vesicles, prostate, and pair of bulbourethral glands. Secretion of the gland constitutes the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium. Secretion of these glands constitutes seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium, and certain enzymes. The secretion of bulbourethral gland also help in the lubrication of a penis. bulbourethral gland का secretion help करता है lubrication of penis के लिए. Lubrication of penis के लिए. The female reproductive system. Female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of orbital uterus, cervix, vagina, and an external genitalia located in the pelvic region. These parts of the system, along with a pair of mammary glands, are integrated structurally and functionally to supply the process of ovulation. Ovaries, oviduct, uterus, cervical, and external genitalia, along with mammary glands, process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, child, and childcare. Ovaries are the primary sex organs. Ovaries are the primary female sex organ that produce the female gamete ovum and several steroid hormone, ovarian hormone. The ovaries are located one on each side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about each ovary is 2 to 4 centimeter in length, 2 to 4 centimeter in length, and is connected at the pelvic wall and uterus by ligament. Pelvic wall and uterus by ligament. Pelvic wall and uterus by ligament. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and inner medulla. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and inner medulla. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and inner medulla. The oviduct, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, and vagina constitute the female accessory duct. Each the oviduct, fallopian tube, uterus, and vagina constitute the female accessory duct. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long and extend from periphery of each ovary from the uterus and a part of a closure of the ovary. It is a funnel shape infundibulum, ovary, infundibulum, fallopian tube, infundibulum isthmus, ambula, region of cervix, cervical canal, vagina, endometrium, uterine cavity, uterine fundus. The edges of the infundibulum possess like fingers like projection called fimbria, which help in a collection of the ovum after ovulation. The infundibulum leads to a wider clitoris, 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 labia minora, labia majora, vaginal orifices, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, urethra, pubic symphysis, urinary bladder, and uterus. The infundibulum leads to a wider part of oviduct called ambula. The last part of the oviduct is isthmus, narrow lumen, and it's joined to the uterus. The uterus is single and is also called a womb. The shape of the uterus is like an inverted pear, and it's supported by the ligament attached to the pelvic wall. Pelvic wall. The uterus open into vagina through a narrow cervix. The uterus open into vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina from the birth canal. Cervical canal along with vagina is called birth canal. The wall of a uterus has three layers of tissue: the external thin membranous perimetrium, middle thick layer of smooth muscle, middle thick layer of smooth muscle, myometrium, and inner layer called endometrium that lines the uterine cavity. Middle thick layer of smooth muscle का middle thick layer है perimetrium. The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle, while the myometrium exhibit strong contraction during delivery of the baby. Myometrium exhibit strong contraction during delivery of the baby. The female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. Mons pubis is a cushion of a fatty tissue. Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. Labia majora are fleshly folded tissue which extend down from the mons pubis, and surrounded the vagina tissue which extend down from the mons pubis and surround the vagina opening को labia majora surround करता है. The labia minora are pair of fold tissue under the labia majora. The labia majora fold tissue and the pair of fold tissue under labia majora. The opening of vagina is often covered partially by a membrane called hymen. The clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure. Clitoris. Clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. Clitoris. The hymen after torn during the first coitus intercourse. However, it can also be broken by a sudden fall or joint insertion of a vagination tampon, active participation in some sports like horseback riding, cycling, etc. In some women, the hymen persists even after coitus. In fact, the presence or absence of a hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or sexual experience. Fat, mammary lobe, mammary alveolus, mammary duct, ambula, lactiferous duct, nipple, areola, rib, muscles between ribs, pectorula, मेजोरा मेजर मसल. फैट हो गया. फैट के बाद मेमोरी लोब. फैट से मेमोरी लोब में मेमोरी एल्वेलस में मेमोरी डक्ट. मेमोरी एल्वेलस से खुलता है मेमोरी डक्ट. मेमोरी डक्ट से बनता है एम्बुला. एम्बुला का मिलकर बनता है लैक्टिफाइड डक्ट. और पीपल के थ्रोट बाहर आता है. A function of a mammary gland is characteristic of all female males. The mammary glands are paired structured braids that contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes, containing cluster of a cell called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk, which is stored in the cavity of lumens of alveoli. The alveoli open into the tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form mammary duct. Spheral mammary duct join to form wider mammary ampulla, which is connected lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Primary sex organ. Gametogenesis. Primary sex organ, the testes in the male and the ovaries in the female produce gametes, that is the sperm and ovum respectively, by the process of gametogenesis. In testes, the immature male germ cell spermatogonia produce sperms by spermatogenesis that begins at puberty. The spermatogonium present on the inside wall of a seminiferous tubule multiply by mitotic division and increase in number. Each spermatogonium is diploid. And contains 46 chromosomes. Each spermatogonium diploid. Content point is some of the spermatogonia called primary spermatocytes periodically undergo meiosis. Primary spermatocytes periodically undergo meiosis. A primary spermatocytes complete the first mitotic division, reduction division, leading to the formation of two equal haploid cells called secondary spermatocytes. Haploid cell. Haploid cells called secondary spermatocytes, which have only 23 chromosomes each. The secondary spermatocytes undergo second mitotic division to produce four equal. The secondary spermatocytes undergo second mitotic division. The secondary to produce four equal haploid spermatids. Four equal is haploid spermatids. What would be the number of a chromosome in the spermatid? The spermatids are transferred into spermatozoa sperms by the process called spermiogenesis. After spermiogenesis, sperm's heads become embedded in the cytosol and finally released from the semi-finished tubules by the process called spermiation. स्पर्मिएशन होता है सेमीफिलस के हेड से जो बाइंड होता है उसके स्पर्म का निकालना. स्पर्मियोजेनेसिस होता है स्पर्मेटिड से स्पर्मेटोजोआ का बनना. ठीक है. और स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस होता है ओवरऑल स्टार्टिंग में स्पर्मेटोगोनिया से स्पर्म्स का बनना स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस होता है. ठीक है. स्पर्मिएशन पता चल गया. तो स्पर्मियोजेनेसिस पता चल गया. Spermatozoa, the spermatogenesis to spermatozoa. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty due to insignificant increase in the secretion of gonadotropin released in hormone. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty due to significant increase in the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH. Spermatogonia, cytosol, primary spermatocytes, secondary spermatocytes, spermatids, spermatozoa. If you recall, is a hypothelic hormone. The increased levels of GnRH that act as anterior pituitary act at the anterior pituitary gland and stimulates secretion of two gonadotropin, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone (FSH) and LH. LH acts on a Leydig cell and stimulates synthesis and secretion of androgen. LH androgen पे act करता है. Androgen in turn stimulates the process of spermatogenesis. Androgen in turn process the process of spermatogenesis. FSH act on a Sertoli cell. FSH act on a Sertoli cell. Secretion of some factor which help the process of spermiogenesis. Secretion of some factor which help in process of spermiogenesis. Let us examine the structure of sperm. It is a microbic structure composed of a head, neck, and a middle placenta. Plasma membrane envelop the whole body of a sperm. The sperm head contains elongated haploid nucleus. Head के पास है haploid nucleus. The anterior portion of which is covered by a cap-like structure called acrosome. Acrosome, plasma membrane. Haploid. Acrosome, plasma membrane. Nucleus containing chromosomal material. Head, neck, middle piece, mitochondria, energy source for semen, tail. Cap-like structure होता है acrosome का. The acrosome is filled with enzyme that help fertilization of the ovum. Acrosome filled with the enzyme that help fertilization of the ovum. The middle piece possesses numerous mitochondria which produce energy for the movement of tail and facilitate sperm motility, essential for fertilization. The middle piece possesses numerous mitochondria. Middle piece possesses numerous mitochondria which produce energy for the movement of tail and facilitate sperm motility. essential for fertilization. The human male ejaculation about 200 to 300 million sperm during a coitus, of which for normal fertility at least 16% of sperm must have normal sapient size, and at least 14% of them must show vigorous motility. Sperms released from the seminiferous tubules are transported by the accessory ducts, secretion of epidermis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and plasma, along with and prostates, are essential for maturation and motility of sperm. The, the seminal plasma, along with the sperms, constitute semen. The functional the functions of male sex accessory ducts and glands are maintained by testicular hormone androgen. The process of formation of mature female gamete is called oogenesis, which is marked different from the spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is initially during the embryonic development, when a couple of million of gametes mother cells oogenia are formed within each petal. No more oogenia are formed and added after birth. This cell starts and division in turn into process one of the meiotic division and get temporarily arrested at the stage called primary oocytes. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by the layer of granular cell and is called primary follicle. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by a layer of granular cell and is called primary follicle. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by the layer of granulosa cell and is called primary follicle. प्राइमरी oocytes में टेम्पोररी अरेस्ट हो जाता है प्राइमरी oocyte पे टेम्पोररी अरेस्ट large number of these follicles degenerate during the phase from the birth to puberty. Therefore, at puberty, only 16,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are left in each ovary. The primary follicle gets surrounded by the more layers of granular cells and a new theca called secondary follicle. New theca and are called secondary follicles. More layers, secondary follicle. The secondary follicle soon transform into tertiary follicle, which characterized by fluid-filled cavity called antrum. Fluid-filled cavity antrum. Tertiary key characteristic. The theca layer organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. It is important to draw your attention that it is at this stage that the primary oocytes within the tertiary follicles coincide and complete its first mitotic division. It is an unequal division, resulting in the formation of a large haploid secondary oocytes and a tiny first polar body. The secondary oocytes remain bulk of the nutrient-rich cytoplasm. Secondary oocytes retains bulk of nutrient-rich cytoplasm of the primary oocytes. Can you think any advantage for this? Thus the first polar body born out of first mitotic division divide further or degenerate. At present, we are not very certain about this. The tertiary follicle further changes into the mature follicle or graphene follicle. The secondary oocytes form a new membrane called zona pellucida surrounded, surrounding it. The graphene follicle now ruptures to release the secondary oocytes from the ovum and from ovum to ovary by the process called ovulation. Can you identify major differences in spermatogenesis and oogenesis? A diagrammatic representation of spermatogenesis and oogenesis is given. Blood vessel primary follicle showing tertiary follicle showing antrum, graphene follicle, ovum, corpus luteum. At puberty, एक से दो होते हैं माइटोसिस डिफरेंशिएशन फिर उसके बाद एक का माइटोटिक डिवीजन होता है दो होते हैं दो से फिर चार होते हैं सेकेंडरी स्पर्मेटोजोइड सेकेंडरी हैप्लॉइड होता है फिर स्पर्मेटिड्स बनता है हैप्लॉइड होता है फिर डिफरेंशिएशन होता है 46 23 fetal life में प्राइमरी oocytes माइटोटिक डिवीजन फर्स्ट माइटोटिक डिवीजन completed prior to ovulation के पहले होता है सेकेंडरी oocytes and first mitotic division completed prior to ovulation, birth, childhood, puberty. Secondary oocytes, first polar body. Second polar body, ovum, adult reproductive life. Secondary oocytes, ovum. Menstrual cycle. The reproductive cycle in the female primates, example monkey, apes, and human beings, is called menstrual cycle. The first menstrual begins at the puberty and is called menarche. In human females, the menstrual is repeated at an average interval about 28 to 29 days, and the cycle events starting from one menstrual till the next one is called menstrual cycle. One over one ovum is released ovulation during the middle of each menstrual cycle. Measure the major event of a menstrual cycle shown in figure. The cycle starts with the menstrual phase when when menstrual flow occur and it lasts for 3 to 5 days. The menstrual flow results due to the breakdown of an endometrium lining of the uterus and its blood vessel which forms liquid that come out through vagina. Menstruation only occurs if release of ovum is not fertilized. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. However, it may also cause due to some other underlying causes like stress, poor health, etc. Menstruation only occurs if the release of ovum is not fertilized. The menstrual phase is followed by the follicular phase during the fully mature graphene follicle and simultaneously endometrium of uterus regenerates through proliferation. These changes in ovary and uterus are induced by the change in the levels of pituitary and ovarian hormone. The secretion of gonadotropin LH and FSH increase gradually during follicular and stimulates follicular development as well as secretion of estrogen by the growing follicle. Both LH and FSH attain a peak level at the middle of cycle about 14th day. Rapid secretion LH leading to its maximum level during the mid-cycle called LH surge ruptures the Gravian follicle and thereby release the ovum that is ovulation. The ovulatory phase is followed by luteal phase during which the remaining part of the Gravian follicle transforms to the corpus luteum. The ovulation phase is followed by luteal phase during which the remaining parts of the Gravian follicle transform as the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum secretes large amounts of progesterone, which is essential for maintenance. The corpus luteum secretes large amount of progesterone, which is essential for maintenance of the endometrium. Corpus luteum secretes large amount of progesterone, which is essential for maintenance of endometrium. Such endometrium is necessary for implantation of the fertilized ovum and other events of pregnancy. During pregnancy, all events of menstrual cycle stop, and there is no menstruation. In the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates. This causes disintegration of the endometrium, leading to the menstruation, marking a new cycle in the human being. Menstrual cycle ceases around 50 years of age. That is termed as the menopause. Cyclic menstruation is an indicator of a normal reproductive phase and extent between menarche and menopause. Menstruation hygiene. Maintenance of hygiene and sanitation during menstruation is very important. Take bath and clean yourself regularly. Use sanitary napkins or clean homemade pads. Change the sanitary napkins or homemade pads after every 4 to 5 hours as per the requirement. Dispose the used sanitary napkin properly or wrapping it in the used paper. Do not throw the used napkin in the drain or toilet or in open area. After handling the napkin, wash hands with soap. LH FS दोनों का सर्च आता है एट ओवल्यूशन के टाइम नेट इज 14 डे फर्स्ट से 5 तक होता है निकलने वाला फिश मतलब एंडोमेट्रियम टूटता है ओवेरियन हार्मोन्स लेवल एस्ट्रोजन पहले ज़्यादा होता है ओवुलेशन से पहले उसके बाद प्रोजेस्टेरोन ज़्यादा होता है एंटिंग में एस्ट्रोजन भी ज़्यादा होता है क्योंकि एस्ट्रोजन थिकनिंग कराता है और प्रोजेस्टेरोन मेंटेन करता है एंडोमेट्रियम को एट द कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम जब डिजेनरेट होता है तो प्रोजेस्टेरोन का अमाउंट कम हो जाता है उसको मेंटेन करने वाला कोई नहीं रहता तो उसका ब्रेकडाउन चालू हो जाता है Fertilization and implantation. During copulation, coitus, semen is released by the penis into the vagina insemination. The motile sperm swim rapidly, pass through the cervix, enter into the uterus, and finally reach the embryo region of the fallopian tube. The ovum released by the ovary is also transported by the embryo region. Where fertilization takes place, fertilization can only occur if the ovum and sperm transported simultaneously to the embryo region. This is the reason why not all copulation lead to the fertilization of pregnancy. The process of fusion of sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. The process of fusion of sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. During fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with zona pellucida layer. The process of fusion of sperm with an ovum is called fertilization. During fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of the ovum and induce changes in the membrane that block the entry of additional sperm. Induce the changes in membrane that blocks the entry of additional sperm. Thus, it ensures only one sperm can fertilize an ovum. Secretion of the agrosome help the sperm enter secretion of acrosome help the sperm enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum through the zona pellucida and plasma. Through zona pellucida and plasma. Diagram: ovum, cells of corona radiata, sperms, prevaginal space, zona pellucida, corona radiata, ovum surrounded by pure sperm. This induces the completion of mitotic division of the secondary uterus. This induces completion of mitotic division of secondary uterus. The second mitotic division is also unequal and results in the formation of second polar body and haploid oocyte. Soon, the haploid nucleus of the sperms and that of the ovum fuse together to form a zygote. How many chromosomes will be there in the zygote? One has to remember that the sex will be has been decided state itself. Let us see how why. As you know, chromosome pattern of female XX and male XY. Therefore, all the gametes of ova produced by the female have a sex chromosome X, and male gametes from the sex chromosome could be either X or Y. And 50% of sperms carry X chromosome, while the other 50% carries Y chromosome. After fusion of a male and female gametes, zygote will carry either XX or XY, depending on whether its sperm carrying or Y fertility of the ovum. Zygote carrying XX will develop into a female baby, and XY will form a male. About the chromosome pattern, this is why scientifically it is correct to say that sex of the baby is determined by the father, not by the mother. The, the mitotic division is that as the zygote moves through the stomachs of the oviduct called cleavage towards the uterus, and the 2, 4, 6, 18, 16 daughter cells called blastomeres. The embryo with 8 to 16 blastomeres are called morula. 8 to 16 को हम morula बोलेंगे. The morula continues to divide and transform into blastocyst as it moves further into uterus. The blastomeres in the blastocyst are arranged into a uterus. The blastomeres in the blastocysts are arranged into an outer layer called trophoblast. Blastomeres in the blastocysts are arranged in outer layer called trophoblast. An inner group of a cell attached to trophoblast called inner cell. The trophoblast layer then get attached to the endometrium and inner cell mass get differentiated as the embryo. After attachment, uterine cells divide rapidly and cover the blastocyst. As a result, blastocysts become embedded in the endometrium of the uterus. This is lead to the implementation and leading to its pregnancy. A B C D morula बना E blastocyst का implantation हुआ H F H E D C B F is 16 और G is blastocyst transferred ovum fertilization and growing embryo into the fallopian tube. Pregnancy and embryo development after implantation. Finger-like projection appear on the trophoblast called chronic villi, which are surrounded by the uterine tissue and maternal blood. After implantation, Finger-like projection appear on the top of larger chronic villi, which are surrounded by the uterine tissue and maternal blood. The chronic villi and the uterine tissue becomes interdigited with each other and jointly form a structure called a structure and functional unit. Chronic villi and uterine tissue. Chronic villi and uterine tissue becomes integrated with each other and jointly form a structure and functional unit between developing embryo and fetus and metabolism called placenta. Placenta कौन बनाता है? chronic villi और uterine device. Chronic villi किसके पास होता है? Trophoblast. So trophoblast और uterine tissue मिलकर बनाते हैं placenta. The placenta facilitates supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo and also removal of carbon dioxide and accelerates material produced by the embryo. The placenta is connected with the embryo through the umbilical cord, which helps in transport of a substance to and from the embryo, which helps in transport of substance to from the embryo. The placenta is connected to the embryo through an umbilical cord, which help in transport of to substances to and from the embryo. Placenta also act as endocrine gland tissue. Placenta also act as endocrine tissue and produces several hormones like human chorionic gonadotropin hormone (HCG), human placental lactogen (HPL), and estrogen, progesterone, etc. HCG, human chronic gonadotropin, or human placenta lactogen (HPL), estrogen, progesterone, etc. In the later phase of pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by the ovary. In later phase of pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin also secreted by ovary. Relaxin secreted by the ovary. Let us remember that the HCG, HPL, and relaxin are produced in women only during pregnancy. In addition, during pregnancy, the level of other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. are increased several folds in the maternal blood. Estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine सब increase होते हैं maternal. Increased production of these hormones is essential for supporting the fetal growth, metabolic changes in the mother, and maintenance of pregnancy. For supporting the fetal growth, metabolic changes in the mother, and maintenance of pregnancy. Immediately after implantation, inner cell mass embryo differentiate Immediately after implementation, the inner cell must differentiate into an outer layer called ectoderm, and inner layer endoderm, and mesoderm soon appears between the ectoderm and menoderm. These three layers give rise to all tissue in adults. It need to be mentioned here that inner cell mass contain cells called stem cells, which have the potential to give rise to all the tissue and organ. What are the major features of embryonic development at various months of a pregnancy? The human pregnancy lasts 9 months. Do you know how many months pregnancy lasts in dog, elephant? And find out. In human being, after 1 month of pregnancy, the embryonic heart is formed. The first sign of a growing fetus may be noticed by listening to the heart sound carefully through the stethoscope. By the end of second month of pregnancy, the fetus develops limbs and digits. Ends of 7 limbs and digits. By the ends of 2 weeks, first trimester, most of the major organ systems are formed. For example, limbs and external genital organs are well developed. The first movement in the fetus and appearance of the hair and the head are usually observed during the 5th month. Fetus appearance of hairs observed during 5th month. By the end of about 24 weeks, second trimester, the body is covered by fine hair, eyelids separate, and eyelashes are formed. Eyelids separate and eyelashes are formed. By the end of 9 months of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and is ready for delivery. By the end of 9 months of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and is ready for delivery. By the end of 9 months of pregnancy, the fetus is fully and ready for delivery. Maturation and lactation. The average duration of human pregnancy is about 9 months, which is called gestation period. Vigorous contraction of the uterus in the end of pregnancy causes expression and delivery of fetus. This process is delivery of the fetus childbirth is parturition. Parturition is induced by a complex neuroendocrine. The signal for parturition originates from a fully developed fetus and placenta, which induce mild uterine contraction of the fetus ejection reflex. A signal of parturition originates from fully developed fetus and placenta, which induce mild uterine contraction and called fetal ejection reflex. This triggers release of oxytocin from maternal pituitary. Oxytocin acts on the uterine muscle and causes stronger uterine contraction. Oxytocin causes stronger uterine contraction, which in turn stimulate further secretion of oxytocin, which in turn stimulate further secretion of oxytocin. Oxytocin का further secretion करवाता है, which in turn stimulates further secretion of oxytocin. Stimulatory reflex between the uterine contraction and oxytocin secretion continues, resulting in a stronger and stronger contraction. This is the expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through the birth canal, parturition. Soon afterward, the infant is delivered. The placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. What do you think the doctor inject to the induced delivery? The mammary gland of the female undergo differentiation during the pregnancy and start producing milk towards the end of the pregnancy by the process called lactation. This happens in the mother in feeding in the newborn. The milk produced during initial few days of lactation is called colostrum, which contains several antibodies absolutely essential for developed resistance for a newborn baby. Breastfeeding during initial period of infant is recommended by doctor for bringing a healthy baby. Human are sexually reproducing and beware the male reproductive organ is composed of a pair of testes, male accessory ducts, and accessory gland and external genitalia. Each testis has about 250 compartments of called testicular lobules, and each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly semifibrous tubules. Each semifibrous tubule is then ascended by spermatogonia and cytosol. The spermatogonia undergo mitotic leading to the sperm formation. Undergo mitotic leading to the sperm formation, which cytosis provide nutrition to dividing the cells. Dividing themselves. The leading cell outside the membrane will synthesize and secrete sexual hormone called androgen. The main extended is called penis. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, uterus, vagina, extended and a pair of mammary. The ovaries produce the female gametes and some steroid hormone, ovarian hormone. Ovarian follicles in the different stages of development are embedded in the stroma. Ovarian follicles in the different stages of development are embedded in the stroma. The oviduct. Ovarian follicles in different stages of development are embedded in the stroma. The oviduct and uterus and vagina are female accessories. The uterus has 3 layers, the perimeter. Uterus has perimeter, merometrium, endometrium. The female genitalia includes most labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. The mammary glands are one of the female secondary sexual character. Spermatogenesis results in the formation of sperm that are transferred by the male accessory ducts. A normal human sperm is composed of a head, neck, and a middle piece and tail. The process of reproductive cycle is of a female primate called menstrual cycle. During ovulation, only one is released as per menstrual cycle. The cyclic changes in the ovary and uterus during the menstrual cycle are induced by the change in the level of pituitary and ovarian hormone. After fetus, sperm transfer to the junction at the stomach and ampulla of the isthmus and ampulla where the sperm fertilizes the ovum, leading to the formation of diploid zygote. The presence of X or Y chromosome in the sperm will determine by the sex of the embryo. The zygote undergo repeated mitotic to form the blastocyst, which is implanted in the uterus in pregnancy after 9 months. Pregnancy for the fully developed fetus is ready for delivery. The process of childbirth is called parturition, by which is induced by a complex called neuroendocrine mechanism, cortisol, estrogen, and oxytocin. Cortisol, estrogen, and oxytocin. Mammary gland differentiate during pregnancy and secrete milk after childbirth. The newborn baby is fed milk by the mother lactation during the initial few months of growth.